Hey everybody. Hope everybody's having a good night. Um, Probably be a relatively small crowd this evening, I imagine. This space is something I've been wanting to start, and despite planning, in my head and in the background, um, really just randomly scheduled it and decided to kick it off today. So hasn't been a lot of promotion um, about this project prior to today. So, which is all good. Nice little small space, and really the idea, the focus of this first episode, I call it, um, it's just to sort of explain what the hell this thing is, right? Why am I hosting these spaces? Why is it called marketing is a dirty word? Um, who's it for? And I guess what I hope to accomplish. Um, so I started a few minutes early. I scheduled it at 8. I probably just hit 8 o'clock. Um, of course, I'll record the space. Um, I think it's smart, and I will lead by example and take these recordings and re-upload them on other platforms, possibly even podcast style, obviously to my YouTube account. Um, and just save this content as I grow, as the NFT and Web3 space grows, and as marketing progresses. Um, it's an ever evolving thing, and I'm very passionate about it. Um, so I'll kind of get started. Um, Webster's Dictionary, I'm joking, that's lame, but I thought of that joke earlier and I really wanted to say it. So, um, this space that I'm very passionate about marketing, um, and over the past year, as I've immersed myself in the Web3 and NFT space, um, uh, some things have become very obvious, and something that sticks out in my opinion is that a lot of projects, uh, I guess predominantly smaller projects, but projects of all sizes in the NFT space, um, a lot of people kind of have this icky reaction to the word marketing. And I think that's unfortunate. um, but it's bothered me, and it's been on my mind constantly over the past year. And so this marketing is not a dirty word phrase, just keeps coming to the my brain. Um, you know, and that's it, right? I want to not me necessarily teach founders in the NFT and Web3 space. It's I don't look at it like that. I think it'll be a lot more of maybe talking it out with some founders, maybe starting some conversations, bringing some different perspectives, and helping maybe people come to their own conclusions and help redefine what quote unquote marketing really is and what it should be and what it can be. Um, so, I hope to help in some small way this space be a better thing, right? And I've got a soft place in my heart for one artist, smaller projects that don't have massive budgets. Um, I will probably be speaking to them quite a bit throughout this journey that we're on, um, because I think this thinking of marketing as this icky thing really hurts the smaller artist, the one of one artist, the smaller projects that aren't coming to the space with massive budgets, um, because I think it discourages them from promoting their projects efficiently and effectively. And man, that just rubs me the wrong way. In it, it infuriates me, to be honest. Um, Obviously, as I've kind of alluded to, my focus will be on the NFT and Web3 space because that's something I'm very passionate about. That's the space that I have um, decided to put myself in moving forward. I think influencers, endless shilling, as they call it, and ultimately just marketing has led to this bad perception, right? Which is understandable, but you know, to back up from that a little bit, it sounds cliche, but people die in car wrecks, okay, and it's terrible when it happens, but we have to keep driving, right? We have to take precautions to do the things we need to do to be successful, whatever that means to us individually. Mitigate the risk, right? Just be a better example of drivers, right, than the people who get in accidents. That might have been a weird scenario there, but if I would suggest that if you think marketing is a creepy or icky, slimy thing in the NFT space, then be a part of making it better. As founders, as marketers, as collectors, let's let's make it a better thing, right? Instead of just ignoring it, because the fact of the matter is, anything worth doing is worth marketing, right? Anything that is worth your time and energy, right? If you've created this project, you're building this thing, whatever it may be, of course you need to market it. Of course you need other people to learn about it, right? You need to reach collectors and potential collectors. That that's an obvious thing. Um, there's no business, on the planet that doesn't have to market themselves to free. The NFT space, the Web3 space is no different in that regard. I understand there was a time simply existing in the NFT market brought a lot of projects success from being there, but it's different. You know, there's a lot of projects on the market. Collectors have so many choices and only so much money to spend, right? So projects are left to differentiate themselves, to stand out, to connect with collectors, not just be there, right? The good news is that, in my opinion, this space is just built built for good marketing, right? We've got such a head start. Marketing isn't one thing. Marketing isn't paying some popular person to repost your post. Marketing isn't paying Twitter to promote your post. Right? Marketing is communication. And communication is a beautiful, beautiful thing. There is nothing wrong with it. In fact, again, it is one of the beautiful things a business or an NFT project can do, is communicate who they are, what they are, and where they're going. That's marketing in its purest form, in its most beautiful form. And that's fucking exciting. I'm kind of a nerd, right? But I get goosebumps talking about it because it's such an awesome and exciting space to be in, right? I'm kind of, in a way, and I looked at it like this for a little while. I looked at it like I was fighting a battle, coming into the NFT space as a marketing guy, right? Man, all of these projects have a negative perception of what marketing is, and I'm in the space as a marketer. What am I going to do? Over the past couple months, my way of thinking has changed drastically. I'm in the best possible position I could be in. There are a million examples of people doing what I do badly, and I have a phenomenal chance to shine and to help projects shine, to help them do it right, to help them take a step back from this very passionate, very intense NFT space that everybody has gotten so grand. Take a step back, right? Look at marketing in a different way. Take ownership of some of these marketing tactics, and I say tactics in a beautiful way, that so many NFT projects ignore. So many NFT projects ignore SEO. They ignore social media platforms besides Twitter. They ignore the value and the potential promoting posts as far as social media promotion, right? And we have sort of, I say we, the space has sort of given those avenues to the scammers. And that's unbelievably unfortunate. That's another thing that makes people cringe a little bit when they think about marketing is they think about the last time they opened Instagram and saw a scammy rug pull style NFT project as a promoted post in their feed. I get it. But again, we have to take back those very good, super beneficial marketing channels. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy if we stay off of other social media platforms because there are scams and things and an unwelcome environment on those platforms. Well, if we stay off, there are very few, if any, positive voices on these platforms. That's only going to continue and get worse. I feel very strongly about this. Twitter is a beautiful tool, right? I think NFT projects absolutely have to focus on Twitter, right? And sort of circle outwards. But the term echo chamber becomes very, very relevant when I'm talking to projects. The NFT enthusiast crowd, I love them, right? I'm one of them. That's my family. But it's very small. It's a small group of potential consumers. And we tend to be in this one little bubble on Twitter. A circle outside of that is looking at the user base that Twitter has. Well, it's 70% male, in case that matters to you. If you're pushing or promoting a project that it's an inclusive themed project, right? Say you want to reach women, or women of different nationalities. Twitter's a horrible place to do that, to be perfectly honest. Twitter is something like 60 to 70% male. 90% of Twitter's activity comes from a very small portion of their user base, and they're predominantly upper middle class white people, right? And I'm a white dude, I'm not saying that's good or bad, but it is, and it needs to come into play. Other social media platforms have different demographics, right? All of this is beautiful, beautiful data that I get very excited about, and I'm constantly studying. But like I said, I understand Twitter needs to be somewhere where projects focus, and possibly always focus most of their attention, but especially in the beginning. But we really have to get outside of this bubble and reach people. We have to get our project in front of new eyes, We have to do that in creative ways, but even bigger than the creative ways, we just have to do it, right? Like I said, I was a marketing nerd. I love data, right? The web space is very unique. It is new. We are changing a lot of norms, right? And that's awesome. But the reality is that we understand how modern consumers behave. They have been well studied and documented. We understand what modern consumers do with their money. We understand how they shop. We understand how much money they have to spend. And so we have to look at all of that. Of course, scrub it against the nuances of Web3, scrub it against the nuances of NFT collectors. But this refusal to look at that, this valuable data is making it very hard for NFT projects to grow, to be honest. And in my opinion, um, the market is very rough right now, right? Crypto market, the fiat economy, everything is rough. But I don't want to say all of that could change, but on a small level, any one NFT project's level of success could be drastically changed with onboarding new people into the space. I mean, just absolute game changer just from pulling in new people, right? Because new people were coming into the NFT space and the Web3 space every day. Where are they going, right? Who are they connecting with as soon as they get in? That's kind of a wild card, right? You can stay on Twitter and hope that they find you, and I hope that they do. But the better plan is to reach out and assign some resources and some energy into onboarding directly into your project and the NFT space as a whole, obviously. But when a consumer, or a person is introduced to something new, right? A new disruptive technology, more specifically, they're going to be loyal. They're going to develop a really strong connection with whoever brought them in and educated them, right? Introduced them to this new thing. And that has to be, I don't know, it has to be considered a little bit more. I want to make sure and stress that none of it's easy, right? A lot of people, and I even sometimes stop it. I'm like, yeah, well, it's easy to say these things. Well, it's easy to say them, but that's part of the beauty of having someone who looks at things differently, right? None of these things are easy. Onboarding people from outside of the NFT space isn't easy, right? It takes effort and it takes time, but it's a worthy cause, 100%. And I'll go to the grave, right, holding that banner. That onboarding could change everything for any specific NFT project. When I said earlier about how much the NFT projects are just built, just designed for good marketing, what I meant by that is, the future of marketing, at least, some people think, I agree with, is storytelling, right? Storytelling is so powerful. It's such a great way to market your project, product, service, whatever it is. Um, you know, NFT projects, right? We've got this huge spotlight on art and creativity in this space, and that's massive, right? We're trying to market paper clips here. Nothing against paperclip companies, but beautiful art amazing technology, and we're surrounded by other crazy talented artists, crazy talented creators. I mean, it's a marketer's paradise. I think one of the things in speaking to some friends, some, I say smaller projects, not in a bad way, but just really pointing out how many awesome ways there are to tell their story, so to speak. Um, the founders and the artists that have created these projects, some of them have been working on this their whole lives. They've been thinking about this art and creating this art and perfecting this thing that they've built for years and years. There is so much of that. Like, people want to learn about that. They want to hear that story. They want to understand that you sketched this when you were 13 years old and, all of whatever the stories are. They want to hear that. They want to connect with that. They want to hear how you imagine this character you draw. How do you think he talks? Does he have a southern accent? Does he shop at the fucking Piggly Wiggly? Like, they want to hear, and they want to learn, and they want to engage, and they want to be emotionally invested in projects that they support. And kind of the other way around, they will support projects that they do feel emotionally invested in. The ones that tell a story that resounds with them, that resonates with them. Um, there are a million things, and there are a million visually appealing things on their feeds every day, right? We're just slammed with content. So the game changer, in my opinion, and as it pertains to the NFT space, is connecting and bringing those people in. However, and that applies to every different project in different ways, right? But you've got to connect with them. You can't stay in the same echo chamber, right? Saying the same things every day and post same pictures and hoping that the same people, you know, will do different things. We're creatures of habit, right? Um, we've got to get outside of our heads, outside of our bubble a little bit. We've got to get some deep, rich storytelling content created, and we've got to get it in front of new people. And I really feel like that's one of the biggest things that this slower market is setting the table for. I think a lot of NFT projects are really going to have some time to invest in their, marketing strategy, and a lot of them won't call it that, and that's okay. Storytelling, video content, social audio like Twitter Spaces, um, across multiple platforms with a strategic plan behind them. I mean, that's a recipe for success. I'm going to try to cut this space a little bit shorter. I don't think my plan for all of these will be just to straight up talk for 30 minutes or an hour straight. Um, but there's a few things I kind of wanted to get out there. Quick little 20-minute or whatever, super condensed version of how my brain is working and the way I'm kind of seeing things right now. Obviously, we all have to pay bills. I'm very excited and have been very lucky to be able to work with amazing NF projects, big, small, whatever. And beyond that, I'm happy to help. Um, It's not about me being an expert in anything, right? It's just I have a different perspective. I think maybe I can, bring some different ideas to the table. So feel free to reach out to me if I can ever help. If you've got questions, obviously in a perfect world, I would love to. I would love to help you market your product. Um, Something that is really that I see has changed. I never anticipated this. When I came into the NFT space, I saw digital marketing services and social management services as three different things, and I don't anymore. For me, my best spot is social media content marketing, you could call it, but it's just helping keep your story strategy, right? Keeping it focused, keep organized, keeping it moving along, and keep people engaged. And I love doing it. I absolutely love it. Um, I can't imagine doing much else. I enjoy talking about it. So that's the super condensed version of what this space will be. Why am I doing it? What makes me tick, so to speak. Um, I'm not really going to put a time on it. I'm not going to say, oh, it's one every week. Man, if we're jiving and we've got some people wanting to speak, um, we'll go on as long as we need to. Uh, so, like I said, this was sort of impromptu. I've got Tina. I would love to hear some feedback from you. And I just saw um, some people join in. But come on up, Tina. Let's see what you have to say. I realized as I was kind of chatting, um, you may have requested to speak a few minutes ago and I didn't see it. So I'm sorry if that's the case.
Oh, no, that's quite all right. Um, First of all, thanks for holding the space. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm fairly new with all of this, so I have lots of questions. But and I came in late, and so you may have talked about this early on. But what I did hear mostly, you were talking about marketing and marketing projects. Can you just describe what you're saying, what a project is to you? Because for me, I am just in this space building community, trying to build, friendships and community and things like that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have a project, so it's project part of it to me.
Got it. I think whether you know it or not, you just brought, you might have just changed my terminology forever. That's very interesting. Um, when I say project, I guess I could say, I'm sort of, I come from a B2B background, right? Um, Sales manager, I sold to other businesses. And in the marketing space, the personal brands have gotten huge over the past couple of years. But, I'm usually working with business entities. And so I think my default language is to, speak to people that, are selling NFTs in the space. But this is great. So would you, and don't take on this title if it doesn't fit, but would you categorize yourself as building your personal brand in the NFT space, though?
Yes, I think I would.
So I think that's, and I'll have to actually think. Thank you so much, first of all, for listening and speaking up because I'm a lot more aware of, and I haven't even really wrapped my head around it yet, how my terminology will speak. But I think that's very important. And in my brain, you're the same as the guy that has, an NFT tangible product, right, releasing every week that they're trying to sell. Um, so no, I think so. Again, if that title doesn't fit, it doesn't. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Well, I mean, I don't have a brand, so to speak. I'm like not trying to make the next, Board 8 Yacht Club.
Right.
I take pictures randomly, and it makes me feel good to be able to post a picture that makes other people feel good, and if people have the opportunity to buy that for their own, then that's what I'm about.
Okay,
So
so you do actually mint some of your photography, is that right? Is that
yes, I do.
correct? Okay,
Correct.
so yes, 100%, you're a project, right? And again, I apologize that in my terminology, I think you're right smack in it. Just like I was talking to the founder of Goblin Town right now, in my eyes, exactly the same category. Um, so no, it's an interesting thing, right? Because I imagine as a photographer and as a independent photographer, you've got a couple extra hills to climb. Um, you know, with I've always heard right over the past year, oh, wait till music NFTs get big, or wait till photography NFTs get big. Do you know what I'm saying there? Like, I don't know if
Right.
that ever is going to be a. Oh, it's finally Monday, and photography NFTs are the thing. I don't know that we ever get that, but is that something that's on your mind day to day?
Um, Not necessarily just the photography. I mean, I think just watching the whole thing evolve. I mean, we're so early into it that I think we have a ways to go. And I think as desires change, I mean, I'm not going to say that photography or art as a whole is going to be, here. Art will be here forever. It's been here forever. It was here before
Right.
NFTs. It was be here. It's been here forever. Art will always be the thing. But as far as the NFT world is concerned, I mean, photography might be the flavor of the month. Next month, it might be something else. And for me, getting into the NFT thing, I don't want to follow the flavor of the month per se. Like I said, I like doing
Love it.
the photography thing. I like that. It feeds my soul. And like I said, if I can give some kind of, happiness along the way, and they want to take that as their own, that's great. But I have this desire to follow the NFT to see where it goes, both in the NFT and cryptocurrency as a whole.
Hmm.
So I want to watch it go and want to watch it evolve. And I guess in my age, I don't have that far to go with that. And I guess I'm more into it to see how this is all going to evolve with my grandkids.
Right. That's interesting. And humans, and this is so much of where I come from with my whole thing is, the Web3 and the NFT space is so unique, right?
Hmm.
And it really is. And the goals that we have do change the world, right? Like decentralization and creators having ownership and control over their content. Like this is definitely changing the world, but we're still humans, right?
Hmm.
And we have developed certain habits, and one of those is we like to categorize things. Just like I categorize you as a photography NFT artist, right?
Hmm.
I hope that we all can further evolve in this space where the photography word is just a byproduct of the art that you create as a creator.
Hmm.
And that would be a beautiful thing. But, like I said, in the meantime, I thought humans gonna human. And we want to categorize things, we want to put things into their place. Um, do you have a theme? And again, I'm being one of those bad humans where I kind of want to put things in their place. But would you say there's a theme? Are you I don't know. Do you take a lot of pictures of nature, of animals, or very, is it varied?
Um, it's mostly varied. Like I don't do portraits at all. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot I can't shoot people. um, but I do a lot of landscaping, a lot of sunsets, things like that.
Nice, nice.
I do like. I'm trying really hard to get some street photography underneath me. That is extremely difficult field.
Oh, I bet.
But I've also done kind of dabbled in a little bit of AI stuff. AI paints, things like that.
Yeah.
I'm still, like I said, I'm still, as far as photography, I mean, it's always been a very limited hobby for me. I mean, I've always worked full time, so
Mm-hmm.
it's always been a limited hobby for me. I've taken it on more seriously since the NFT world has evolved.
Right.
But as
Well, you've
far
got
as
to, because, and I hate to interrupt you, but is that because you've got a better chance at, and again, there's nothing wrong with making money from your creations, but is that why you kind of had this aha moment or felt positive feelings of when you found the NFT space?
Um, it it kind of evolved from just looking into. I mean, I used to follow the stock market, not super heavy, not anything official,
Mm-hmm.
but I used to follow the stock market. And then, I got into cryptocurrency when my kids, said, "Hey, mom, you need to buy Shiba Inu," and I'm like, "What is a Shiba Inu?" So I got into, cryptocurrency and followed that for a little while. Did a lot of research, um, just, trying to find something to do with my downtime, and most of it started during the pandemic, obviously.
Right.
So I just needed something to do at home, followed it around. And then when I started seeing the NFT thing, I was like, you know what? I love to take pictures. I love photography. So it kind of helped me get back into it. And the only reason why I quit is because my camera had died and we were at a financial state then where I just couldn't get another camera. So I dropped the whole thing. And so then when I saw the NFT thing come around, I was like, you know what? This is just going to get me right back into it. So that's pretty much why I did it, is mostly initially just to eat up the time that I am not a sit-at-home person, and so being locked up in the house for 2 years was
Right.
driving me crazy. And so that's why I got into it. But then, doing more research and following, like I said, it's a great community thing. And if I can help other people along the way, great. And I mean, so as far as to say, do I actually have um, a style or label? Not yet. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
But as far as photography, it's mostly landscaping and things like that.
I like that. And, I guess the reason I asked that, and this is common advice from smart people and people that, you know, don't know what they're talking about, but niching down is really super helpful for a lot of people. Um, and even that in itself could be tough, right? You're on this. It might sound cheesy, but you're on this artistic journey, right?
Hmm.
Where whether you should or not, there's not a pretty little bow label that you could put on your artwork. And I think that makes it tough, probably. But one of the first things I like to do is figure out, okay, we're able to kind of put a label on it here, and who is your target collector, right? I want to say consumer because that's right how I think in the data, but they're collectors, um, and I don't know that you have kind of gotten there. I don't want to speak for you, of course, but that is usually such a massive help. And to go on from there, the reason is say you take pictures and your target collector is a female. Well, again, Twitter's a horrible place for that, to be
Right.
perfectly honest with you. And obviously there are a lot of low-hanging fruit, and that's not a derogatory term. It's a great place to start inside the community, but you know, the people in the community are enthusiasts, and to be honest, we're horrible customers. We're very picky. We know somebody who knows somebody who does this, and it's like I came from the vaping industry, and I know this sounds totally unrelated, but you know I was in it very early on, and I was a horrible customer because I knew everybody in the space, and I got all my products for free. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know, I was a horrible retail customer, and so that's how I look at NFT Twitter, right? Great people, great work, such a resource for learning, but almost I don't know, shortly after learning and like releasing a product to market, man, I say you got to take a left out of there as quick as possible and not ignore it and forsake it, but you've got to have one other leg in some other customer pools. Um, and that's again, that's 90% of what I talk about day to day. Um, I know it's tough to post NFT related, content on Instagram, right? It's not the hottest thing over there. Um, but I imagine with photography, it may even be easier to put a different face on it, right? Like spend some time building up a body of content on different social media platforms, and maybe don't lead with the term NFT, right? Lead with the
Mm,
term photography, or whatever those other buzzwords would be.
right.
Does that kind of make sense? I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm
yeah.
talking totally different than what you kind of wanted to chat about. I'm just kind of going on a journey with you.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It makes sense to, you know, I mean, you're going to want to market your product, not, solely with Walmart. You're going to want to go with, Target and everybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. That's
yeah.
it. I say this, on a space I do with a buddy of mine. I said this especially the other day, but studying modern consumer behavior um, has been such an eye opener, right? As I've learned the NFT space, and I think it's such a man. I think the NFT projects that do that implement that, are really going to have a head start, um, because this is all entertainment budget stuff we're talking about, right?
Mhm.
NFTs might have some utility here and there, but we are vying for the modern consumer's entertainment budget, which is not huge. Um, you know, they buy our NFT and maybe they can't go to the movies or have date night that month. Um, and I think that, just that boring data is just so important to keep in mind. And of course, I suggest any artist, sell their work or work for less than they feel like they need. But at the same time, it's got to be recognized, right? If I'm talking to a group of people that all make $50 a week, I'm not going to talk about a Rolex. I'm just not going to, right? Whether I'm a Rolex guy or not. It's just wrong place, wrong time, read the room kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I think that's going to be so important. Just understanding how the average person views what we do, and finding a way to make it relatable.
Gotcha.
But this is a big thing, right? It's a lot to unpack. Um, I would really, and this isn't a self-serving thing, I would really love to kind of keep in touch, and maybe if you can pop in on these spaces once in a while and kind of go on this journey with you, because hopefully, if nothing else, I can bring up some things that get you thinking in a different way. But and again, I think everybody should be free to do a million different things every day. But as you establish, I could say, your goals, identity, whatever your thing is, um, it gets easier, and I think I can help with some more dialed in advice. Does that
Gotcha.
make sense at all?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not trying to cop out. I just don't want to, overload you and you'd be like, dude, this guy talked for an hour and I have no idea what he said. Um, it's a
No, no.
beautiful journey, and I think you're asking the right questions. I think you're thinking in the right way. Um, I think I made a kind of infographic that's this spiral, and it starts at Twitter and it goes out to Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok and Google and all of those things.
Yeah, ripples
You
out.
know, I think so. And the last thing I wanted to say, because you're a one of one artist, right? That's
Yes.
one of the categories I put you in. I think one of one artists are best positioned to onboard the masses. And here's my biggest, like, boom, drop the mic thing on that topic. So when I want to buy a new T-shirt, right, and I decided I'm going to buy this online, do you think that I go online and type in mystery T-shirt for sale, or do I type in extra extra large V-neck white T-shirt near me, or whatever, right?
Right.
I don't buy mystery boxes. The average modern consumer doesn't do that. They're not degenerate gamblers like us, and I joke, but we don't do that. The modern average consumer wants to view a plethora of available products and pick the one that fits their life, that speaks to them, that is right for them. And I bring that back to one of one artist. because I really don't think the masses are going to get addicted to this minting random NFT thing. I just don't see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun thing, but the chances that the NFT space is going to change years of consumer behavior, very, very slim in my opinion. I think we're going to have to conform to them in a lot of ways as we reach and as we deal with mass adoption. And again, one of one artists, I think you guys have a huge head start over, and nothing against any type of project, but I think you are able to better connect with collectors. I think they are going to find it far easier and more familiar of an experience to quote unquote shop with you.
Yeah.
What do
Well,
you think about that?
I guess my deal with the one-on-ones is that um, I've never been one to follow the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to stand out on my own, not in the spotlight, because that is not at all what I'm about. I don't want to be
Right,
in the
right.
spotlight. Um,
Other
but
side of
my
the
husband
camera, I get it.
makes fun of me because my truck, the truck that I drive, I want it completely different than anybody else's. I don't want it to be like everybody else's. I am my own person, and I just don't want to follow everybody else. And so I think that's why the one-on-one, resonates with me better than
Right.
just in the crowd with everything else. I don't want to have the same thing everybody else has. That's just
Right.
not kind of where I'm at.
And I think that speaks to what you're doing. You know, the average person, and I don't know, maybe this phrase is outdated, but the average person, a boss, right? The average person is an employee. And again, nothing wrong with being a boss or an employee or an entrepreneur or an hourly employee. But I think your desire to be different, right, and trailblaze is why you are in the NFT space, right, on this journey. Um, and the average person will be collectors of yours. Um, and I think there's a cool bridge here, right? Because a lot of people love custom tennis shoes and this, but as consumers, we understand that there's a higher price tag for that, right? If I want custom Nike shoes, they're $300 instead of buying their that are mass produced for 40, whatever it is. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think one of one artist, and I know a lot of people probably do this, but I think you guys can play on that with editions, right? With one of ones and edition, right? Say you've got a photograph and you're blown away. It's your best work yet. So that might be a one of one. But then I imagine that you also could spin off and say, well, look, here's 50 editions of that, right? That I'm also going to release because the average person probably doesn't care about being that unique, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they might not be able to afford that special one, but they want to be a part of that brand, right? They want to, the artwork still speaks to them. And I imagine that's going to be and probably is a cool way to offer something unique and special to the right collector, but also offer something that's attainable to more people, right? It doesn't close off walls and keeps the doors open for anybody, so to speak.
Yeah. Hmm.
I've never talked about that out loud, but it's something that I think about. Um, I was never a big art collector before I got into the NFT space. I enjoy graphic design. I love it. Um, to me, having the one of one fancy bragging right flexing, I don't care about that, right?
Yeah.
I like to have unique things, but I'm also 6'2", and covered in tattoos with long hair, and I'm a loudmouth, right? So I have some of that one of one, unique stuff. Um, but I like white Hanes V-neck T-shirts, right? I don't need. God, I'm so out of touch with fashion. I don't need the fucking Gucci, $400 Gucci Balenciaga T-shirt. Um, I understand that if I wanted it, I would have to pay for it. But I'm cool with just having a shirt that feels good. Um, And that's that, I don't even know. I'm kind
Well,
of
and I
rambling
think
there, but
that's the answer right there, is that you want something that makes you feel
that's it.
feels good. I mean, and that's where I'm at too. I don't want it because it's got the name brand. I want it because how I relate to it.
That's it. And I think that's something that, in general, NFT projects and collections and founders are kind of dropping the ball on. And of course, I'm not speaking about every, but there is just so much power in that connection, right? Um, when I think about soda, I think Pepsi, right? That's my shit. When I think about tennis shoes, I think about Nikes, right? Like those brands have just made such an impact that it's not tennis shoes. It's a pair of Nikes, whether they're Adidas or not. Like that kind of branding power is something that most companies spend millions and years trying to attain and never get it. And I think the NFT space and creators have phenomenal head starts as far as that goes, right? Like we are probably some of the most creative people, the most forward thinking people on the planet. I can't wait to see marketing accepted and utilized in that regard, you know?
Yeah.
And we've got these NFT project that's I don't know, it's a bear, right? And he's got these different things, man. I can sit and talk 7 hours about any specific NFT you showed me, right off the cuff. And I'm just a talkative dude. Imagine, even if that creator, right, that artist isn't a good storyteller, but imagine if I knew the backstory. Man, I could weave an unbelievable, deep and rich story, and I could share it once a week on Spaces, right?
Hmm.
I could do a choose your own adventure poll through the week. I could have live sessions on Instagram, TikTok. Um, I could do Pinterest, whatever the hell you ladies do on Pinterest. I'm joking, of course. Uh, you know, it, the joke was funny. So you get, um, there's just so many beautiful ways built into what we're already doing. So many beautiful ways to market it, and I understand it takes a little courage investing in other platforms that aren't quote unquote NFT friendly, but the reward is great, the payoff is great, and the people that put forth the effort doing that are going to be rewarded. Whatever that means to them, whether it's with attention or sales, um, whatever it is. But it's a great time. I'm broke, right? So it's like, well, if I'm already not rich, not successful, I damn sure better be doing what I want to do.
You're right. Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
Makes sense.
And while
All right.
yeah, no, please go ahead. Is there anything else you could think of? And I really do want to thank you for coming on. I would really like to have you again next week, and I mean every week. I'd like to follow along the journey.
Yeah. I mean, I can't make any promises at this time, but I will do
Yeah,
my
no, for
best
sure.
to do to kind of listen in. But no, I don't have anything else at the moment.
No, that's cool. I appreciate you popping in. You know, I didn't. The rest of these will be a little more planned and maybe, a little more focused on different topics. So pop in when you can. I really appreciate it, and best of luck. I
Thank you.
followed you, and I'll check out some of your work for damn sure.
Awesome. Awesome. All righty.
Thank
Thanks
you
again.
so much.
Ace, I
Yeah,
appreciate
keep me posted.
it. All righty.
All right. So I think with that, I will probably wrap it up. I'm glad Tina came up and chatted a bit. Again, I want to apologize. It was a little bit of a hyper condensed JT talking for 30 minutes straight. Um, but it's one of those things, and it's something somebody hammered into my head long ago. Just do the thing, right? If there's something you want to, or a thing you want to create, just start doing it. And so today I realized I wasn't taking my own advice. And so, boom, I scheduled the space, and here we are. Marketing is not a dirty word. Join me on this journey. And I love you, everybody. And we'll do it again next Wednesday night. probably the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Everybody be safe.